All right, friends. Well, I am delighted to welcome you to our third and final session of the Building a Math Community series. And tonight we're focusing on putting it all together. So we are thrilled to present to you this session that will be very collaborative in nature and allow you an opportunity to work together with your peers to take all the content that we have shared in the past two sessions and apply it. We are also going to record this session so that you have a reference to be able to refer back to later on down the road, and also for others who weren't able to make it to the live session right now. So again, welcome, and we will move on to do a very brief introduction because we know at this point, you know us. I'm Lindley Campbell, and I've been here with you for the past two sessions, and my very dear friend and colleague over here is also back again to present.
Yes, my name is Tiffany Vincent, and like Lindley said, we are so thrilled to share our last session for this series. So thank you for joining us tonight. As we move into our session, we do have some goals. So the three goals that we have, first one is we want you to apply the strategies that we have covered in previous sessions. We want you to be able to apply that in the session today. We also want you to work on collaborating and brainstorming. And the last goal that we have is to create a lesson plan. So the end goal is for you to walk away with a lesson plan partly completed.
Yes. And before we get into that lesson planning, we want to do a very quick reflection back on where we started. So you can see here an image from our course, the Building a Math Class Community course, and you know it's been a series. And you'll recall that we began our series talking about number talks. After that, we did our second session talking all about engagement techniques. And as you heard, today we are going to put it all together. So tonight, as we dive into putting it all together, where we'll focus on developing a lesson plan and center it around student actions and engagement, Tiffany is going to provide for you a link to a lesson plan that we have developed for you to use tonight. And she's going to share that with you all in the chat box in just a moment. And you'll notice when you gain access to that link that the template that we're using today does not incorporate number talks like we focused on for that first session. And although number talks are essential in any math community, for the purpose of this lesson planning design session, we won't be highlighting them in particular tonight. But we are going to apply some of the components that exist within a number talk, such as student discussion, signaling, and teacher questioning. So if you grab that link there in the chat box, you are going to be well on your way for getting yourself started working on this fabulous lesson plan. And Tiffany's going to explain a little bit more to you about it now.
So this is a 5-day lesson plan that we designed, but for the purpose of today's session, we're actually going to focus on day one of the lesson plan. This lesson plan is something that we designed based off of a DPI sample, and it was tailored to math. We tailored it to math just for you. So the white section that Lindley is going to be modeling, that's where you can actually type. It's going to be below the heading. That's where you can type whatever you need to. And the words that are highlighted, if you'll notice there are some blue words that are highlighted, those are actual links that we've embedded within the lesson plan to assist you with planning certain components of the lesson plan. We also wanted to share with you the blue sections that you see. There are words in the blue section that are supposed to help you, maybe guide you through what you might want to fill in for the white section below it. And so we just really wanted to design this lesson plan in a way that made it easy for you to have what you needed all in one location and you don't have to search for it. We're not going to focus on each component of the lesson plan, but I do want you to focus on the section that Lindley is hovering over where it says introduction and teacher actions, as well as teacher input, modeling, and questioning. Those are two of the sections we're going to focus on. And last but not least, we have teacher actions. We also have student actions. So what are you going to be doing and what are the kids going to be doing during this math lesson? Keep in mind that since part of this series has been focused focused on hooking and engaging students in math, these are the components, the ones that Lindley just showed you. Those are the components that we're going to focus on today. But we want to also give you a snapshot of what that 5-day lesson plan looks like. This lesson plan is going to be able to give you a sample of what a gradual release model looks like. And so we have provided you with a snapshot. We just showed you what Monday or day one would look like. Lindley showing you a snapshot of what Wednesday would look like, as well as what Friday is going to look like. And if you notice in those components that there are some things that slightly change because it's supposed to mimic the gradual release model, which means that as the week progresses, we want our students to own more of the learning throughout as the week progresses. And as a result, the students' actions will increase and the teacher's role is altered because we want to give the kids more of responsibility in their own learning. As you progress through the week, it is normal that the structure may need to be adjusted based on your schedule and the needs of your students. So don't think that Monday has to be what it looks like all week. Monday and Tuesday is what it has to look like all week. You can pick and choose which components or which structure you like to meet the needs of your students.
All right. And with that, we are about to prepare to do some breakout room collaborating. But before we do, we are going to first share with you about a teacher pathway. For the breakout rooms, you are going to be offered 2 possible pathways that you can choose. And if you look at our image here, you'll notice that we're going to be focusing on this teacher input, modeling, and questions. That's the me part of the lesson. And there are 2 pathways, one that leads to explicit and the other that leads to explore. So these are your 2 options that you can choose from tonight. So you could choose to focus on how to explicitly model a standard where you would emphasize the teacher's role and then the student actions during this portion of the lesson. Or you could select the explore option. Here, you would focus on facilitating an exploration where you would plan out what you would do to facilitate this exploration, and then also what your student's role would be within this process. We want you to remember that we have resources linked for either pathway that you choose within the lesson plan template. So as you go into your breakout rooms, once you select which option you'd like to do, you'll be able to pull up those resources and select something that we've already included, or perhaps devise an activity or a strategy on your own or along with the peers within your group. So you've got a lot of options here to support you as you are working on designing your lesson.
Touching on what Lindley shared about your 2 pathways, which we're excited about, the breakout rooms, as she said, are designed for you to choose with whichever pathway you would like. Would you like to go to room 1, where you're going to work on explicitly modeling a certain content and thinking about how are you going to explicitly model whatever standard you choose? Or would you like to go in room 2 and explore, which is the pathway where you're going to think about how you want to facilitate exploration for your students at this time. But we most want to just encourage you to lean into the method that feels most challenging to you or more challenging to you, and to push in that skill. We know that sometimes what may not feel as comfortable may be something that you might not lean towards, but we want this to be an opportunity for you to expand and for you to grow. So take whichever pathway you would like, but we do encourage, if there's something you're not so sure of, we'll be in the breakout rooms with you to support you along the way. You will have 15 minutes in your breakout room. And during that time, you will be focusing on the me and the we section of the day 1 lesson. And Lindley was modeling that when she was hovering over the lesson plan. Everybody should have access to the link. We did resend that link just in case. But besides that, I think we're going to open up the breakout rooms and let you work.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope that you had a productive 15 minutes there of planning. I know I did. I had a fabulous group. We were working on explicit modeling. So I know that if you weren't with me, then you were with Tiffany working on some exploration. So we'd love for you to take a really quick second and just share a takeaway that you have from the conversations that you were having in your group. Just anything that you'd like to spotlight right now and share it with the whole group. You can pop over to the chat box and add it there for everybody to see. And if anybody has any questions or anything like that, this is a great time to interject those to the group. We're just going to spend a minute or two here, and then we're actually going to move back into breakout rooms once again to work on the second part of our lesson design. Let's prepare for our second round of breakout rooms. And you'll notice that there's just a slight variation with the configurations of these rooms. You will be going back into the exact same group with the same teachers that you were working with previously, but this time you're going to shift your emphasis to work on creating a hook and some engagement strategies that support the explicit modeling method, or a hook and engagement strategy that would support your exploration. When you're thinking about these things, we really just want you to think about how you see these relating. So how you see explicit modeling relating to a good hook to get students engaged and started on the lesson. And then same thing with that exploration, thinking about how you could hook them initially and then launch that exploration. So we want to look at fusing the two together in a way that one benefits from the other. And this will be another great moment where you all can collaborate and share some ideas together while using that lesson plan template and the different resources that are contained within it. We'll spend 15 minutes working on these portions of the lesson, and then we'll all come back together as a whole and wrap up our session. Welcome back. How did your session go? Part 2. Did you guys get some great things planned out, I hope? Some good ideas passed around? Excellent. Well, we wish that we could spend even more time diving into those different sections, but we do know that the conclusion portion has resources linked within there. And I know that you all are pretty fluent in tying in some assessments at the end of your lesson. So if that's something that you ever have any questions about or would like some more support on, you can reach out to myself or Tiffany, and we're happy to set up an additional planning session for you. But we think that those resources that we linked in there will be pretty helpful with kind of capping that lesson off. And then you know that you can continue on that template and look ahead to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and keep building with what you started here for your Monday lesson. So again, I really hope that this was productive for you, that you were able to gather some good ideas in your conversations with each other and come up with some things that you can use in your classroom, perhaps tomorrow, later on in the week, or maybe next week. Ultimately, we just want this to be very useful for you all as you are delivering your math lessons. So we are excited that you spent this time with us, and we'd like to conclude with just a couple of things. As you are probably recognizing from previous sessions, the last couple of slides tend to contain some of the same bits of information. We love to acknowledge your participation in our different professional development series that we offer. And here is yet another opportunity to add on to your virtual session attendee badge by completing just a brief reflection to tell about what you learned from the event. Tiffany's going to share the link for this one in the chat, and you can grab that link and go through and continue adding on to your little profile here. So if you've been able to attend all 3 sessions, you should have 3 little characters filled in there, perhaps more from others. So that's one that we wanted to share out. And then we have one other, and that's related to this course as a whole. I think most of you are familiar at this point that this has been an ongoing series that we began actually in November and took a little break over the holidays, but came back together and met with you in January, and then now again here in February. So this 3-part series has all been focused on helping you build a math class community. And we have this course that corresponds with it. And this is something else. We'll share the link out to you so that you can come in here. And you can see that the chapters are broken down by topics. And tonight's session, chapter 4, putting it all together, is the one that you will want to come back to if you need to grab a copy of that lesson plan template. Again, it's linked right here. You'll see some reminders about building your math class community and fostering a growth mindset. We will also include the recording for this session right here once we have that available to you, and then we'll have a final reflection. So once you come in and add your final reflection, you'll then have the opportunity to click this submit work for review, and that will then allow you to earn a new course badge for completing the components of these different chapters. And Tiffany and I are really excited to hear from you, your thoughts and your reflections on each of these different topics, and to start sharing some badges out to you all. So we hope that you'll take advantage of this opportunity, and you'll see that that link is also there in the chat so that you can grab that. But if you ever need to come back to this, you can find all of these resources in the Ambassador Teachers community. So you can always come back here, look through resources, look through courses, and find these different things to support you. So that's where they live, and that's where you can also find some things related to ongoing PD for you. So we do definitely want you to stay tuned. We always have additional professional development opportunities that we're planning and preparing for you. So a great spot where you can find these different offerings is our Ambassador events calendar. You can always pop in here, see what's going on for the month, and then you can scroll down and find links to register for sessions. It's a great spot to stay tuned. Plus those announcements that go out every Friday from Michelle Mackenber always share a wide array of current things that we have in the works to get everybody together. So we look forward to seeing you in an upcoming session or maybe a social event. And thank you again for attending this final session in our series.
We also want to just encourage you to continue to use the resources. And once again, if you need anything or you want us to go over something, just send us an email. We'll be happy to help you.
All right, everybody. Thank you. It's 6:29. So we wish you a great evening, and we hope to see you soon back in the community.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.